Triage refers to the decision to profile the severity of injuries and decide the order of treatment if there are several patients. Episode 9 of For All Mankind Season 2 has a thematic resemblance with the above aspect and is aptly named after the medical term. After the attack on the cosmonauts, the situation between the USA and the Soviet Union have worsened. Other issues plague the mind of the lead characters, but they have to stand their ground. In essence, they have to prioritize their problems and prioritize the solution depending upon the severity of the former. Ed's marriage is in the doldrums, yet he has to commandeer the Pathfinder because it has a more pressing need. Molly's eyesight is deteriorating, but she has to oversee the developments of the Apollo-Soyuz mission. Tracy and Gordo are on the path of reconciliation, but the space race's volatile nature puts them in a difficult situation. The penultimate episode packs a lot of details that we have decided to unravel. Spoilers ahead. The injured cosmonaut is brought back to the Jamestown base for treatment. The escalation leads to a souring of relations, and the Soviets issues a stern warning message of an impending retaliation. General Bradford informs Margot that the Buran shuttle has been launched from the Sakhalin Island, and it is heavily armed. There is a probability that the Buran might shoot down the Sea Dragon in the apprehension of it being a carrier of nuclear weapons. Meanwhile, the Department of Defense has taken over the Pathfinder program and has postponed its launch. The crew has to escort the Sea Dragon to the moon safely, and they are handed pistols for their personal protection if they land back in hostile territory. Molly wants to visit Mexico for her treatment, but Wayne is adamant about not letting her go for fear of a mishap. Ed visits his family before Pathfinder's launch and receives the devastating news of his wife's infidelity. He tries to hook up with a woman, but is unable to shrug off his feelings for Karen. 2 cosmonauts arrive at the Jamestown base to check on their injured comrades. However, in a twist of events, the injured cosmonaut regains consciousness and asks for political asylum in the USA. The Apollo and the Soyuz module are launched in space, but the docking procedure is constantly delayed due to an apparent technical issue on the Soviet side. Molly doesn't go to Mexico and reunites with her husband. Tracy and Gordo are about to share a smoke when the Soviet cosmonauts attack the Jamestown base. The Soviets and the Americans are caught in a game of one-upmanship and try their best to outdo each other. Every event with seemingly hostile intentions is met with strong backlash from the opponent. Such is the nature of the Cold War, as other places become the battleground for proxy wars. In this case, outer space is the stage of conflict. When the Marines attack the cosmonauts, which is an unprovoked act, the Soviets are left fuming. Their counterparts visit the Jamestown base and are visibly distraught seeing the burnt body of their partner. We can anticipate a retaliation, and fittingly, it happens in the very end. The Soviets shoot down a window of the base, which causes massive dissonance in air pressure. One of the astronauts is pulled into the moon's environment, as the others are trapped inside due to the pressure disparity. Things are further complicated when the injured cosmonaut regains consciousness and seeks asylum in the USA. The president grants him his wish, and he is supposed to be brought back on the next flight. Perhaps this is understood by the Soviets, and they have retaliated to get him back. We could only speculate that the asylum seeker is disillusioned with how the Soviets are handling the space race and wants out of it. But as we all know, a matter of political asylum entails accusations of betrayal and spying. Perhaps this is why the Soviets attack Jamestown and don't want to be humiliated further. Larry receives a visitor who is the special assistant to Ronald Reagan in matters of political affairs. He proclaims that Ellen should run for Congress and has the potential to become the first female president of the USA. Moreover, he believes that Ellen is a hero who can sway the people's favor towards her. Pam overhears these snippets of the conversation and talks to Larry. However, she chooses to leave Ellen. Pam writes in the letter that she was enamored by the barrage of memories that Ellen brought with her. To stay together, they need to come out as a same-sex couple, which was the initial problem that led to their breakup. Given the rapid rise of Ellen in the political and administrative circles, coming out as a lesbian stands to jeopardize her image. Pam works through this predicament and feels that her presence might stifle Ellen's growth. She understands that a life of peace is not on the horizon, given the restive situations that keep Ellen occupied.